What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Let's get right into it. Paddy Pimblett recently opened up about his fight with Michael Chandler, offering a candid and controversial assessment of the former Bellator champion's behavior inside the octagon. While Pimblett was careful to separate Chandler, the person, from Chandler the fighter, he did not hold back when discussing what he believes are repeated fouls during competition. Pimblett acknowledged that he has no personal issues with Chandler outside the cage, describing him as a genuinely decent and respectful individual. However, according to Pimblett, that image changes once the fight begins. He claimed that Chandler has built a reputation for pushing the limits of the rules and engaging in tactics that many fighters would consider unsportsmanlike. Referring to their bout in April, which Pimblett won via third-round TKO, Paddy pointed out several instances he believes crossed the line. He alleged that Chandler frequently lands punches to the back of the head, a clearly illegal strike under UFC rules. Pimblett also accused him of using fingers inside opponents' mouths during grappling exchanges, citing a previous incident involving Dustin Poirier, where Poirier reportedly reacted by biting Chandler after a similar attempt. In addition to those claims, Pimblett said Chandler has a history of eye pokes and described a particularly blatant low blow during their fight. According to Pimblett, the strike occurred when he attempted a kick, and Chandler drove straight up the middle, landing flush to the groin. Pimblett emphasized how obvious the foul was, expressing frustration that it happened in such a high-profile contest. Despite the accusations, Pimblett made it clear that his comments were not personal attacks, but observations based on his experience and what he has seen throughout Chandler's UFC career. He framed his remarks as part of the reality of fighting at the elite level, where some competitors are willing to bend the rules to gain an advantage. The comments have already sparked debate among fans and fighters alike, with opinions divided on whether Chandler is simply an aggressive competitor or someone who consistently toes the line. Regardless, Pimblett's remarks add another layer of intrigue to discussions surrounding fighter conduct and officiating standards in the UFC. Before we continue, please like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay up to date with all our latest content. Moving on to another news. Merab recently went viral after playfully trolling Ilia Topuria during a training session, showcasing his trademark humor and relentless energy. Known for his high-volume pressure style and non-stop cardio, Dvalishvili brought that same personality into the gym, creating a moment that quickly caught the attention of MMA fans online. In the clip, Merab jokingly wrapped small rocks around his knuckles before sparring, clearly exaggerating the idea of hardening his hands before facing Topuria. The act was not meant to be taken seriously, but rather as a lighthearted jab at the intensity of training and the toughness both fighters are known for. As laughter filled the room, it became obvious that the moment was all in good fun, with no real animosity behind it. Dvalishvili leaned into the joke, smiling and laughing as teammates reacted, reinforcing his reputation as one of the most entertaining personalities in the UFC. While some fighters prefer to project an intimidating, stone-faced image, Merab often balances his ferocious fight style with humor and positivity outside the cage. This playful contrast has helped him build a strong fan following. Ilia Topuria, known for his calm confidence and knockout power, appeared unfazed by the antics. The interaction highlighted the mutual respect that often exists among elite fighters, even when competitive tension is present. Rather than escalating into trash talk, the moment served as a reminder that camaraderie still thrives in MMA gyms, even among top contenders. Merab later hinted that he enjoys sparring sessions like these because they keep training environments relaxed while still maintaining focus and intensity. According to him, staying loose mentally is just as important as being sharp physically, especially at the highest level of competition. The clip quickly circulated across social media, with fans praising Merab's personality and sense of humor. Many viewers appreciated seeing a lighter side of high-level fighters, breaking away from constant rivalry narratives. Ultimately, the moment wasn't about rivalry or provocation. It was about confidence, chemistry, and enjoying the grind. Dvalishvili's playful trolling reminded fans that while fights are serious business, the journey there doesn't always have to be. Moving on to another news. Justin Gaethje has reflected candidly on his knockout loss to Max Holloway, admitting that his mindset going into the fight played a major role in the outcome. According to Gaethje, he failed to fully respect the level of danger Holloway presented and approached the matchup with the wrong mentality, a mistake he now views as costly. Gaethje explained that he treated the bout more like a spectacle or a fun fight, rather than a high-risk, elite-level contest that demanded his sharpest competitive edge. That approach, he believes, prevented him from tapping into his usual primal intensity, the mindset that has defined much of his success throughout his UFC career. As a result, he felt mentally unprepared when the pressure mounted late in the fight. The fight ended dramatically, with Gaethje being knocked out in the final seconds. Looking back, he described the experience as unsettling and eye-opening. He admitted that he never truly reached the focused, instinctive state he relies on during his best performances. Instead, he felt disconnected in moments where he normally thrives. One detail that stood out to Gaethje was how clearly he remembers Holloway's face during the fight. He noted that in bouts where he fully enters that primal competitive zone, he rarely retains such vivid memories. The fact that he could recall those details signaled to him that he was not mentally locked in the way he needed to be. Gaethje emphasized that the issue didn't begin on fight night, but during his preparation. He acknowledged that there were mental errors made throughout camp, all stemming from underestimating the stakes and the threat posed by Holloway. That flawed mindset, he said, ultimately led to one of the most difficult nights of his career. Despite the loss, Gaethje views the experience as a lesson rather than a setback. He made it clear that the regret fuels his desire for a rematch. Confident that a corrected approach would produce a very different outcome, Gaethje believes facing Holloway again would allow him to show his true competitive form. For Gaethje, the loss wasn't just about the knockout, it was about accountability. And in his mind, the only way to truly address that mistake is to step back into the cage with Max Holloway and do it the right way. Moving on to another news. Arman Tsarukyan has voiced clear frustration with how the UFC currently operates, particularly when it comes to matchmaking and title opportunities. Speaking candidly, the lightweight contender expressed concern that the promotion prioritizes popularity and social media influence over merit, rankings, and skill inside the octagon. According to Tsarukyan, fighters who have earned their position through performances and consistency should be rewarded accordingly, regardless of how many followers they have online. In his view, rankings should matter, and if a fighter deserves a title shot based on competition and results, that opportunity should not be delayed or denied for business-driven reasons. When asked what he would change about the UFC's structure, Tsarukyan narrowed it down to one key principle: fairness. He believes that if a fighter is ranked and continues to win against top-level opponents, that fighter should be next in line for championship contention. Marketability, while important to the business side of the sport, should not outweigh sporting integrity. At the same time, Tsarukyan acknowledged the complexity of the situation. He admitted that if he were in the UFC's position, he might make similar decisions, recognizing that the organization must generate revenue and maximize profits. Fighters, promoters, and broadcasters all operate within a business ecosystem, and financial considerations inevitably play a role in major decisions. However, Tsarukyan emphasized that an over-reliance on star power risks undermining the credibility of the sport. He suggested that when deserving contenders are passed over in favor of more popular names, it sends the wrong message to fighters who dedicate years to developing elite-level skills and climbing the rankings through hard competition. Tsarukyan also hinted at broader changes happening behind the scenes, referencing the UFC's recent contract with Paramount. While he didn't claim to know the specifics, he implied that new broadcast deals and corporate partnerships may be influencing matchmaking strategies more than ever before. Despite his criticism, Tsarukyan stopped short of outright condemnation. Instead, his comments reflected a fighter who understands the business realities of modern MMA, but still believes competitive fairness should remain the foundation of the sport. Ultimately, Tsarukyan's remarks echo a growing sentiment among elite fighters who want results in the cage to matter more than online metrics. As the lightweight division continues to evolve, his stance reinforces the ongoing debate between sport and spectacle in the UFC. Moving on to another news. Dricus du Plessis has shared his honest assessment of his fight with Khamzat Chimaev, offering a mix of respect, frustration, and pointed criticism. Speaking in a follow-up interview after the bout, du Plessis acknowledged that Chimaev executed a successful game plan, but argued that the performance lacked the excitement many fans were expecting. According to du Plessis, Chimaev did exactly what was necessary to secure the victory and ultimately the belt. While he credited his opponent for fighting intelligently, he made it clear that the fight did not live up to the immense hype surrounding the matchup. In his view, the contest was largely uneventful, and failed to deliver the kind of high-intensity battle fans were anticipating. Du Plessis went as far as to say that he found himself bored during stretches of the fight, despite being one of the participants. He explained that Chimaev consistently avoided dangerous exchanges and focused on neutralizing his offense rather than engaging in a more open, aggressive fight. While effective, Du Plessis believes that approach stripped the contest of excitement. He suggested that Chimaev deliberately avoided what he called a real fight, implying that his opponent understood how risky a full-scale exchange would have been. Du Plessis believes that if the fight had turned into a more dynamic back-and-forth battle, the outcome could have been very different. From his perspective, Chimaev's strategy was rooted in caution rather than confidence. That said, Du Plessis was careful to acknowledge the intelligence behind the approach. He admitted that Chimaev successfully stayed out of danger and managed to negate nearly everything he tried to implement. By controlling the pace and limiting exchanges, Chimaev effectively prevented the fight from developing into the type of contest Du Plessis thrives in. Despite the frustration, Du Plessis framed the experience as a valuable learning moment. He described the fight as a necessary obstacle, one that exposed areas of his game that need refinement. Rather than dwelling on disappointment, he sees the loss as motivation. Du Plessis expressed confidence that fans will see clear improvements in his next performance. He emphasized that identifying these gaps is what allows him to evolve, promising that he will return more complete, more prepared, and fully capable of mastering the aspects of the fight that previously held him back. Moving on to another news. Justin Gaethje has revealed what he believes was the biggest mistake of his storied MMA career, offering rare self-criticism ahead of his high-stakes return at UFC 324. Widely regarded as one of the most dangerous lightweights in the world, Gaethje owns a resume filled with highlight reel victories. However, as he prepares to face Paddy Pimblett for the interim UFC lightweight title, Gaethje has reflected on a costly mental error that still weighs on him. Speaking with ESPN MMA, Gaethje pointed to his brutal knockout loss to Max Holloway in April 2024, a fight that ended with just 1 second remaining. According to Gaethje, the mistake wasn't tactical execution in the final moments, as many fans assumed. Instead, it was his mindset long before the opening bell. Gaethje admitted that he approached the Holloway bout as a fun fight rather than fully respecting the danger he was in. That mentality, he explained, prevented him from accessing his primal competitive instincts, the mental space where he believes he is at his most lethal. He described the night as unsettling, noting that he vividly remembers Holloway's face, something he says rarely happens when he is fully locked in. To Gaethje, that clarity was proof that he never truly entered his most dangerous mental state. He emphasized that the issue began during preparation, not on fight night. In his view, multiple mental mistakes compounded over time, ultimately leading to the wrong approach when it mattered most. That realization is why he remains adamant about wanting a rematch with Holloway, to prove that the outcome would be different with the correct mindset. Now, Gaethje insists he is approaching his upcoming fight with Pimblett very differently. He has made it clear that he wants to drag the fight into the later rounds, where he believes Pimblett will struggle. Gaethje has openly stated his intention to inflict damage, explaining that he has mentally conditioned himself to expect pain so he can reach that primal state once again. Despite minimal trash talk between the two, Gaethje appears fully dialed in. While betting odds favor Pimblett, Dustin Poirier has publicly backed Gaethje, predicting a knockout victory for his former rival. With emotions high and stakes even higher, UFC 324 now feels like a defining moment in Gaethje's career, and one he is determined not to misjudge again. Moving on to another news. The MMA community has voiced growing concern over Paddy Pimblett's preparation ahead of his highly anticipated showdown with Justin Gaethje at UFC 324. With the fight just days away, Pimblett found himself at the center of online debate after a clip surfaced showing him vaping during an appearance in a video on Tom Aspinall's YouTube channel. The footage immediately sparked questions about Pimblett's conditioning, particularly his cardio, as he prepares for the toughest test of his career. Many fans were quick to criticize the lightweight contender, arguing that vaping during training camp, especially before a first title opportunity, sends the wrong message about discipline and preparation. Several critics suggested that Pimblett's gas tank could become a serious issue if he fails to finish Gaethje early. Others went even further, claiming that his lifestyle habits outside of camp, including unhealthy eating, could have long-term consequences for his performance and career longevity. For some, the clip reinforced existing doubts about whether Pimblett can keep up with elite lightweights over championship rounds. However, not everyone shared the same level of concern. Some fans defended Pimblett, pointing out that nicotine use is not uncommon among fighters and athletes. Supporters argued that vaping may even aid weight cuts by suppressing appetite and reducing stress during fight week. Others noted that nicotine can enhance focus and help manage nerves, suggesting that the reaction from fans may be overblown. Examples from combat sports were also cited, with comparisons made to fighters and boxers who smoke cigarettes yet continue to perform at a high level. Defenders questioned why Pimblett is being singled out, arguing that similar habits in other athletes have rarely drawn the same level of scrutiny or criticism. Ultimately, Pimblett remains a professional fighter and is fully responsible for his own preparation choices. Still, the incident has fueled debate about whether such habits could impact his cardio, durability, and performance against a relentless pressure fighter like Gaethje. As fight night approaches, the conversation highlights the fine line between personal routine and professional expectations. Whether the vaping clip proves to be a non-issue or a warning sign will only be answered inside the octagon. With UFC 324 looming, all eyes will be on Pimblett, not just for his skills, but for whether his conditioning holds up when it matters most.